top 10 outside, top 10 inside linebacker list. Um, yeah, so before I start, if you see a guy, or if you don't, in this case, don't see a guy on this list, it may be because I missed out on the stats and I didn't see him, so send off in the comment section below, or because he might be on my outside linebacker video, because in certain places he may be listed as an inside linebacker. In other places he may be listed as an outside linebacker. For example, Jalen Smith. In some places I see him listed as an inside linebacker. In other places they have him listed as an outside linebacker, which is why he was on that list if you don't see him on this list. So anyway, let's start the list at number 10 from the Los Angeles Rams, Corey Littleton. He had 125 tackles on the season, 4 sacks. He was named to a Pro Bowl and was second team All-Pro. This was, I think he was in his third year. I could see him climbing up this list. I saw a lot of praise, when I was doing my research for him, so I definitely see him moving up on my list. At number 9, Roquan Smith. He had 120 one tackles on the season and was named to the Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie Team. This was a guy who I was actually interested in my 49ers drafting, back when he was, back in 2018. I was a bit disappointed that they did not draft him, and it's nice to see that he's doing a good job over with the Bears. At number 8, I have Deion Jones. Now, Deion Jones missed a lot of last season. Well, mostly all of it. I think he only played a couple of downs in week 1. And then he, I believe, tore his ACL or some along the lines of that. But in 2017, he did have 138 tackles. And before that, he also had 100-plus tackles. Deion Jones, when healthy and when on the field, he's a good linebacker. At number 7, I have Jared Davis. He had 100 tackles and 6 sacks on the season. A big part of the Lions' defense. Another guy that I can definitely see moving up on my list, considering, just looking at his stats from previous seasons, where I see, obviously improvement. And so I think later on down the line, he's probably going to be up higher in my list. At number 6, I have Wesley Woodyard. He had 113 tackles and 4.5 sacks on the season. I think 6 is a good spot for him. You could put him a little bit higher, maybe at number 5, and you could put him a little bit lower, maybe at number 7. It just depends. When I was, kind of rough drafting my list, I had him, around those spots, so I kind of found the happy medium and put him here at 6. At number 5, Avery Williams. He had 120 tackles on the season, 3.5 sacks. 5 is a good solid spot. I would say, maybe he can move up on my list, but his stats, depending how long it takes me to make a list, there's not going to be much to go off of because he tore his ACL in the preseason. That's gotta hurt, but 5 is a good solid spot. We'll see what happens when he comes back from his ACL injury. At number 4, I have C.J. Mosley. He had 105 tackles and made it to his 4th Pro Bowl in 2018. I think 4 is a good solid spot. I originally had him at 3. I decided to bump him down to 4. But I think 4 is a good solid spot for him. At number 3, I have a guy whose stats I didn't know were that good. Like I knew he was a top 10 linebacker, or at least he was considered top 10, but I didn't know where in the top 10. I looked at his stats and I was like, whoa, they're actually kind of good. It's Blake Martinez. He had back-to-back seasons with 40 plus tackles. And he also had 5 sacks in 2018. I didn't know he was this good. I didn't realize I was going to end up putting him in my number 3 spot. I put him ahead of C.J. Mosley after a bit of careful consideration. I don't know if he'll move up considering who's ahead of him. But I think it's a possibility. But the guys in front of him are really, really good. But Blake Martinez at 3, I think it's a good solid spot. At number 2, from the Seattle Seahawks, I have Bobby Wagner, 138 tackles. I actually, for a second, considering putting him ahead of Luke Kuechly, but then I was like, well, I'm going to be biased because I'm a 49er fan and I don't like the Seahawks, so I'm going to put him here at 2. But I think 1 and 2, it can go either way, depending on how you see things. And at number 1, Luke Kuechly, 130 tackles. He's just one of the best inside linebackers in the NFL. And this is my top 10 inside linebacker list.